Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. My name is Edward Guiardinu. I'm with Lux Properties. Kevin, thank you for sharing the spotlight with us. I'm sharing the screen, right? You can see it? Okay, good to know. So just a couple things. I'll let the cat out of the bag. The market is tough. I think this has probably been one of the toughest summers we've ever seen. Transaction volume is definitely down, but transactions are happening. What have you guys seen so far in the market?
A lot of cancellations.
1 in 5 transactions are canceling. Correct. 1 in 5. That's 20%. That's a lot. And I know it's happened to me a bunch. What else?
A lot of for sale by owners.
A lot of for sale by owners. Oof, the sellers do not see our value. The good thing is 89% of all transactions are with a realtor. But still, there's a gap. So I agree with that. What else? What about, I'll speak for myself. I don't know if you guys have seen, I think, because I have a lot of listings, and I know Tara would speak for this herself as well. I have noticed that a lot of sellers think it's 2021 and the buyers think it's 2007. So how do we bridge the gap? We just had a deal the other day that the list price was 510, the buyer offered 450, and the seller came down to 505 on a condo that's been sitting on the market for like 75 days. So how do you bridge that gap, right? No one wants to meet in the middle, so the deal doesn't happen, and it continues to happen, and it's very frustrating. Has anyone else seen that happen?
Yep.
Right. So in lieu of that, what I have observed, because remember, people are still transacting. Deals are happening every day. Closings are happening every day. We just had an agent that I'm aware of just sold $13 million. Another agent that I know in Pinecrest just put under contract like $72 million during the summer. So there's a lot of transactions and there's a lot of value that's happening. Just my personal opinion, what I think we can do to offset those gaps and people that are kind of like on the fence. We need to find the sellers, the 4Ds, the people that really do need to sell or transact, buy or sell. So those are people that are divorcing. Those are people that are dealing with death. Those are people that are having a life-changing event, like they're having a baby. And then those are also people that are having another life-changing event that they're downsizing, right? So we have a lot of baby boomers right now that have been holding on. It's the largest generational wealth transfer that's about to happen in our lifetime. And a lot of those baby boomers are looking to downsize at some point. So those are the people that we need to go after, specifically being because if there's not a necessity for them to sell, they're not going to sell. I know I have many listings right now that the sellers are like, look, we have too much equity. We're not really in a rush. If we don't get the price that we want, we're not going to sell. And the listings sit. And I'm sure a lot of you have felt that when you're bringing your buyers, they bring their offer, and that's why we're having that large gap. With that being said, something with finances and affordability, I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with this, and I'm sure we all have, but how many times do you have buyers that are specifically saying like the house is too expensive, we don't want to go over X amount of budget, we're waiting for interest rates to drop, we're concerned about the extra cost, the HOA, the maintenance, insurance, or we want to keep looking for a better deal? What have you guys dealt with any of that?
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. And what are some of the things that you've thought about saying, or some of the responses that you've made in order to deal with that? Because really, at the end of the day, remember, what we want to do for those buyers or sellers, whoever we're representing, what we want to do is we want to be that educator, right? To explain to them the rationale and the logic of why they're seeing what they're seeing. So what are some things that you guys have commented?
Running comps and showing them showing them the recent sales on the neighborhood with the similar properties.
That's excellent. What else?
Also, I've been telling that interest rate today is really not high considering historically. Like I always explain, my first interest rate was 8.75.
I love it.
Yeah, and my relatives paid 17.5. So this is really not bad at all. That's what I
Nina, that is so smart that you say that. And I love that you say that for the first time in 11 months. And I appreciate you bringing that up. For the first time in 11 months, you can have an interest rate in a 5% for the first time in like a year. So when we see light at the end of the tunnel, for all of you that are on this call, you have survived some of the toughest market we've ever seen. Transaction volume is down to the lowest it's been since 1995. And these last 18 months have been the toughest on record. So congrats and kudos to all of you for staying up and surviving this market. Now it's just really overcoming those objections. So Miguel, I love what you said as well. It's really just overcoming those objections and really being specific as to finding those buyers that really do need to transact, because those are the ones that are going to feed us in the short term, right? We know in the long term, as interest rates as interest rates continue to drop and the market and season continues to pick up, we're going to get those transactions. But let's focus on what we can do now and who we can deal with now. So for example, like a lot of people are going to say the house is too expensive for what it offers. Miguel says that he's running the comps and looking what's active in the area. Something else that I've been observing, and I thought that was a really good idea that I would suggest, is also look at what's active in the same area. So for example, let's say you're selling in South Miami. You want to look at houses that are the subject property that your buyer's interested in, right? Let's say they're looking at a 3-2. You want to look at other similar subject properties that are active on the market, not pending, not active with or pending and are active with contract, not closed, active on the market, because that's something else that you can present to the buyer or seller depending on what side you're on and say, look, if you really want to sell this property, you have 6 other homes that are lower or higher in price. And that can help leverage for those people again. And this is specifically for people that need to transact at that moment. If it's one of the examples that I gave you before, that it's a seller that has too much equity or they're dead set on that price, it doesn't matter what quantitative information you provide for them, they're not going to want to transact. These are for the people that are having issues with the debt, the diapers, the divorce. That's how you can get traction. And that's something that I've used in the past and it's worked for me. What about when someone says to you that they don't want to go like over a certain budget? What have you guys said in the past? Something that I have used that's worked is I'm only going to show you things that I think I can negotiate down. And that's why as an agent, we have to really get value. And that's why we need to have these relationships with other agents in the market and really converse with them and say, again, we have a fiduciary responsibility to the seller. But at the end of the day, I know I've dealt with sellers before that are getting ready to be foreclosed on and they need to sell like immediately. They don't have that leverage to try to wait for the market and try to wait out the best offer. So if you've ever had experiences like that, it would behoove you to work with the seller in tandem and ask them specific questions and be, what's the number? What is it going to take to get the deal done? And that's why really having an excellent relationship with your fellow realtors in the market can help bridge the gap and get the deals done. Do you guys have any questions about anything I've gone over?
No, but I'd like to comment on that.
Yes, tell me, Ms. Tara Carter.
So a few things. Obviously, what he's referring to is that we're looking for the people that need to sell or buy versus the people that just want to sell or buy. He had stated 4 Ds. I'm going to go a little deeper on that. So who are the people that need to sell or buy? Well, they have 8 of the Ds: debt, death, divorce, disease, diamonds, they get married, diapers, they have babies, deployment, military moves, and that's 8. And they could throw one in, which is the job, meaning they had a job transfer. And those are always going to be pretty much need to sell or buy versus want to sell or buy. The other thing is that in these objection handlers, what I want you guys to hear, and we'll be able to break them down a little bit more, is that there's always going to be a math and a formula to handling objections. And a lot of that is agreeing and affirming with what they're saying. They want to know that you are listening to what they're saying. They also want to know that you don't just have commission breath and you're attached to the outcome, that you genuinely care about them. So if you notice that he says, I hear you, this is obviously buyer ones for finances and affordability. And I don't want to get started on how important it is that you guys are doing buyer consultations. However, you know, I hear you. And honestly, that's how a lot of buyers feel at a first glance. What's interesting is that the market ultimately determines the value. So let's compare this home with others at the same price so that you can decide if it's truly overpriced or is actually going to give you more than you think. Sound good? Now whatever statement we're making, we have to tie down with a close, which is called what? Who can tell me what that's closed? What is that called at the end when we say, does that make sense? Don't you agree? Sound good? Am I right? What are those? Confirmation, yes, but no.
Tie
What-
downs.
Tie downs. Thank you. They are tie downs, master tie downs. And the game will change. And then also, if you notice too, it's like the first sentence he's affirming when he's saying, I respect that. I respect that. And my job is to show you the best options within that range. You know, so it's the green and the affirming and then ending things with a tie down. That's all I wanted to share from that part.
Thank you. Thank you, Tara. I love it. And I agree with everything she's saying. And to your point, Tara's been more active than me in the market. So I relay it to her. It's the only people that we're going to get to transact in these next 100 days left before the end of the year are people with the 8Ds. That's what I'm finding specifically in the market. So thank you for that, Tara. I love the feedback. In reference to like finances and affordability continued, what about right now with what we've had happen with the interest rates? What do you guys think are some things that we could say to the buyers? Mina, you had just brought it up.
I also show the numbers. If interest rate just comes down for 0.5% and how much you're saving monthly, and it's really not much, then they realize, oh, okay, that's very true.
Mina, with what you just said about showing them the numbers, what about when we're going over like extra costs? Like let's say you're trying to get a buyer into a condo and you know how they have the assessments and the maintenance and the monthly HOAs and the insurance and taxes. I know Tara will touch on this with the buyer consultation, but I think it's really important beforehand that you're giving the buyer before you're getting them to sign any contracts, breaking down the numbers for them and making sure that they're comfortable with that monthly payment. Because if they're not, it doesn't matter what you negotiate, how great you do, pass the appraisal, pass the inspection. If they can't afford it per month, you should never put your client in a situation where they're not where they're not going to be able to afford the house.
Most definitely. And typically, and just so you hear this, people do not buy because of interest rates. They don't buy because of interest rates. That is a buyer who wants to buy, not a buyer who needs to buy. Okay. And so I like his objection handler on that too. And if it was me knowing in my head that people don't buy because of interest rates, I'm still going to agree and affirm with them. So I'd probably, we're waiting for interest rates to drop. I get it. Everyone's watching rates right now. But here's the truth, Mr. Buyer. You can't control rates, only your timing. So if the right home shows up now and rates drop later, you can always refinance. But if you wait and rates drop, home prices are likely to go up, which costs you more in the long run. Don't you agree?
It's to that point, and I know it's like such a tried and true saying. Tara, I don't know if you like this one. Date the rate, marry the house.
No, I hate that.
I'm sure I figured you would, but it's just you're never gonna get that time again. And if it's the perfect house, if you don't jump on it, someone else is gonna take it because someone else in the process has been waiting on the sidelines for 6 to 8 months while that buyer may have just started.
Yeah, well, let's think about that. When the rates go down, do you think that you're the only buyer that was waiting for the rates to go down?
Correct.
No. Okay, it's great. So when the rates go down, is there going to be more buyers or less buyers competing with you? Oh, more buyers. Yeah, that's right. So are you looking to take advantage with less buyers looking in the market? Or do you want to wait for there to be more buyers in the market when you could just refinance at a later time? Which one's more attractive to you, Mr. Buyer? Let them self-discover by you asking questions.
Tara had touched on this about the buyer's consultation. When the buyer's telling you they want to look for a better deal, to me, Tara, and you tell me what your feedback is. I think in the consultation or in the house, there's something there that they're not telling you that they didn't really love.
Yeah. There's something that was missed.
There was something that was missed, and we need to dig into the details, and that's us as the agents providing value and really understanding what's best for the consumer to really ask those specific questions and uncover what it was about house XYZ, why it didn't fall apart. Use every deal, because I know Miguel had mentioned it, like the deals are falling apart. Use every deal that falls apart as a learning to ask better questions, right? To really understand why it was. Was it that the buyer just really didn't like the house? Or was there something else that could have been done?
Yeah.
Let's keep on. For property specific, I'm sure you guys have seen this. The house needs too much work. I don't like the layout. Something doesn't feel right. I want something with a pool. I want something with a yard. The garden's too small. That's not enough square foot. What do you guys think about some of these? Have you seen this in the market today? Some of these objections?
I have. Although for the most part, all of them are taken care of at the consultation, because I know what their top 10 must-haves, needs, and wants are versus what their deal breakers are. And sometimes throughout the process, they'll discover new deal breakers and whatnot. However, once we create a list of their top 10 desires and wants and needs, then if a house doesn't have at least 8 of them, then I'm sorry, if a house has 7 to 8 of those things, we make an offer. And
Right.
that's something that the standard and expectation is set from the very beginning.
Something else with this, and Tara, if you'll touch on it, because I think it's one of my favorite things that you do, the dry run. When you already know what your client wants and you're doing those dry runs, Tara, I'll let you touch on it.
Yeah, so a dry run is just where I go and see the properties prior to them, like, driving through the neighborhood and whatnot. I go and look at them, or I even tell them to go drive by it. Like, we're not going to set up a whole bunch of showings if you know that you're not going to like the neighborhood at all.
And I love that, because not only does it make you look like an agent that's not just doing things on the fly. I don't know if you guys have received this. I get a ton of messages almost every day saying, "Oh, can I see the house in an hour or an hour and a half?" And that most of my listings that are seller occupied, and they require a little bit more time. But that to me is someone that's just doing it on the fly, and they're not really looking out for the best interest, or they're just trying to add it in to try to show everything since they're in the area. Where if you're asking, and in the buyer consult, you're asking really specific questions to really understand what the buyer wants, not only are you saving your buyer time, but you're also saving yourself time.
Hours,
right. With that being said, when we go on to, this is one that I just thought was very specific. We saw something better online. With that question or with that comment, how do you guys handle that, or how would you handle that? I've seen some agents, and I don't get it. Some agents have gotten upset that they're like, "Oh, because they're doing." But at the end of the day, it's a teamwork. And to me, what I would say is, I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Send it to me so I can create the showing for you, or let me know and I'll give you my feedback." Because like that, it's really a partnership in trying to get the deal done and trying to find them the perfect house, which is the end result that we all want.
yeah, most definitely.
All right, moving on to timing commitment. Have you guys had any of these pushbacks or any of these comments from your buyers? We want to see more houses first. We're waiting for a specific life event, which Tara and I have touched on. We're not in a rush. We want to wait a couple months. Have you guys had any of that?
Yep.
I think we're not in a rush, maybe we'll wait a few months. Tara, and I would love your feedback on this. To me, that means there's a life event that's happening, right? And we need to dig down and to see exactly what it is that they want. So it's, to me, a lot of times it's, I'm waiting for my tax return in the spring, or I'm going to get a promotion, or something is going to happen that's going to trigger them wanting to look. Don't you think it would behoove you to be talking to that client beforehand to make sure that when they are ready to transact, you're top of mind?
Most definitely. And for referrals too.
100%. 100%. The time that a client is looking to buy or sell a home is the most they'll ever be talking about real estate. And what better time to get referrals than when they're in the midst of a transaction? Do you agree? Kim, do you want to say something? No? Okay.
No, I'm sorry. I was working with a buyer who was excited to sell, and I started looking, and then she said, "Oh, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait now. I'm gonna save more for a down payment." So I didn't know how to take it. Like, what do you do when that happens? Is she not interested in what I'm showing? Is she really waiting, or?
I could role play that with you. So I hear you. So you want to wait to be able to have more for a down payment. So tell me, how much do you have now? Is it still that 30,000 that we discussed?
Oh, no, not quite. And I'm not sure if I want to do the duplex anymore, if I want to or if I want to do a single family.
I completely understand. And we talked about what the difference is for the income for you. And I'm guessing the house hack scenario you wanted to do with the duplex versus a single family home. And obviously, that sounds like that's kind of changed and you want more privacy. Is that right?
I'm really not sure. I like the house hack, but then I've been looking and the price points are still too much. So I'm gonna look in another area.
Okay. And what other areas are you thinking of?
At Lehigh Acres, I'm gonna go over there and see because I've seen some on the internet and they're much cheaper than what you show me here in Miami. They're under 400 versus here where they're 600 and above.
Most definitely. Are you aware that I can help you there too?
Oh, you can?
Yeah, most definitely. I got your back, girl.
But you're in Miami. Like, I don't know. How's that going to work? Are you always going to be available to go over there?
Well, I do run a showing agent model. So what's so great about working with me is that it's never based on my availability. It's always going to be based on the seller's availability and your availability to get you into the property. Because you don't need me to be Vanna White to say this is the kitchen and this is the bathroom. You need me to be able to negotiate the best possible deal for you. And sometimes I could already have been writing up the deal and talked to the agent before you even got home. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great. Yes, let's go for it. Thank you.
You got it.
I like that.
Out of role play, that it's important to know that I need to understand exactly, because I should have already known exactly how much money does she have, what does she want her monthly payments to be, what is the difference of the benefits and pros and cons of her doing a house hack versus a single family home. What is that going to do for her lifestyle? What is that going to do for her wealth plan moving forward? What concerns does she have? Let's list the benefits. Let's list the difference in value in the areas, and then let's talk about it.
Excuse me, is this an actual situation? Because if it is, I'm going to be,
Huh?
is this an actual situation? Because if it is, I'm going to be buying a house that I'm going to be putting a new roof on as a flip, and I'm going to be selling it below market value. So if this is a client that actually does want to buy in Lehigh Acres,
Okay.
then
You guys, for time's sakes, can you guys have your own side chat conversation?
Uh,
Just do the side chat.
just-
That'd be awesome.
just, yeah.
I like it.
Awesome.
Thanks,
So
Sarah.
timing and commitment. We're worried about the market crashing, or we're waiting until after blah, 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 which is very common.
Right. And we said, and we were talking about the life events earlier. So what about what would you guys say? I know this is a very common one right now. What about when the market is going to crash? What do you guys think about that?
I love that one.
Right.
Can we role play that?
Yeah, let's do it. You want to? So I'll be the buyer.
Edward, I know, I hear you that the market's going to crash. So what information leads you to believe that the market's going to crash?
Oh, I don't, my neighbor told me that, it's just a really bad time to buy or sell. So I'm going to stay renting because I just think, I don't know what's going on with the world. There's, a lot of things in politics and I'm going to stay renting. I'm just too nervous.
I completely understand. And the media loves to put fear into us. So curious, you said that the neighbor was the person you spoke to. How many homes has your neighbor bought?
Oh, my neighbors lived in the house next door for 40 years.
Oh, okay. So he's probably about one.
Probably.
Yeah. And so
I,
where?
I think actually, I think he inherited that house from his mom.
Oh, okay. I got it. So we don't have the same level of expertise that I do that does this full time and day in and day out as somebody who's inherited a home that's been there. And Edward, when you say that you're getting things from the news and whatnot, what news are you referring to?
I just it's really more Facebook and Instagram. I just see the articles, and sometimes I watch that TikTok, and I get my news from there, and it tells me that you know that everything's gonna crash, and it's gonna be like 2007 all over again. So
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
nervous.
it sounds like that news that you're getting is a national news. And it doesn't sound like they're too much of credible sources, does it?
I yeah, I guess you're right.
Okay. Would you say, Edward, that there's a difference between national news versus international news?
Yes, I would
Would
agree
you
with that.
say that there's a difference between national news and state level news?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah. And how about state level news to county news?
Yeah, I guess it needs to be local.
Yeah, and then we could even get more gritty than that because I know that you were looking in the condo market, and the condo market's different in Brickell than it is in West Palm. So let's get granular and let's break down exactly what market you are referring to, and I could show you numbers because numbers don't lie, Edward. Does that sound good?
That sounds like a plan. I get, yeah. Did you guys understand what like did you guys like how Tara and I handled it? Because that happens to me literally every day. That someone that has that and again, it's not Tara, we're not showing off. It's not how many houses, it's just it's you're gonna trust the doctor that has had their license for 20 or 30 years and that has seen thousands of patients versus the one that just graduated from med school, right? It just makes difference. And again, at the end of the day, it's all about being an expert and being hyper local and really understanding your market because exactly what Tara said, numbers don't lie. I love that. Thank you.
No, and whenever they talk about it, my favorite one is, well, my crystal ball is broken and my broom is in the shop. And I don't know, but I can tell you based on the trends, things are doing this. And I like when they tell us, well, you know, I would like to know, everybody, actually put it in the chat because I know you get this often. What do you say when somebody says, how's the market? How's the
Yes.
market? It's the same answer every single time, by the way. It's the
It
same answer
depends.
every time.
It depends on if you're buying or selling or investing.
Yeah, so I'm buying. How's the market?
So I provide facts, insights about the market that I specialize in.
Yeah, but what if we're at Publix and you're in Fort Lauderdale and you don't know the area and someone just says, you know, as you're packing groceries, they're like, oh, you're a real estate agent. How's the market? You go to a networking event. There was one in Coral Springs yesterday that I was at. How's the market? Give me more. I know someone's gonna give me the answer I'm looking for.
Could it be when you ask them which market or no?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, that's
exactly.
where I'm going. So the answer is it's great. Why do you ask? And then first, people are I've always said it's great for over 10 years. It's great. Why do you ask? And then that turns into, well, which market are you referring to? Because the difference of the market of the condo market versus single family home market versus luxury
it.
market versus waterfront market versus South Florida. Are you talking Miami? Are you talking state? Are you talking Ocala? Are you talking Chicago? Are you talking Canada? What are you talking about? And that's what allows you to open up a dialogue. So the market is always great. Why do you ask?
And to Tara's point, what that does is that shows that you're a real expert because again, and it's just reading the information and really getting it. I know that Chicago's having a very hot market. So depending on what they're talking about, maybe you can reference and really dive into what it is that they want. And they're going to say like, oh, that's someone that really does know their information. And it provides your value at juncture in Publix when you wouldn't even think that you could be converting a client.
Literally. Well, and it's true though, because in all reality, I can spin it no matter what. If it's like the condo market's fascinating right now, but there's still an opportunity for somebody to come in for the ones that can't afford it that are on fixed incomes. That could be a great opportunity. If it's going to come down to the buyer's market, well, we haven't been in a buyer's market in over 10 years. So that's an opportunity for you. But again, what price range are we buying? What type of property are we buying? There's just a lot of factors. They could be talking about the mobile home market. Like, I don't know. Clarity is power.
Andres, you have a question?
Hi, good morning. Yes, on the same note, I agree with that, and I actually practice that. I ask, what are you talking about? What are you interested in? But one question, in regards to that, how, if using your example, you are in Publix Fort Lauderdale, and you don't know exactly the area, but they ask you about something related to Fort Lauderdale. At that time, what would you say to them if you don't know the market, but you have to be very specific?
I am a real estate agent that focuses on my area of expertise, and I have somebody that would be the best person for you to speak to that is a master in knowing that market specifically, because the master of all is the master of none, and you want an agent that does know their area, right?
Correct.
Great. So what's the best information for you so I can connect you with my expert in Fort Lauderdale?
Mm-hmm. All right.
And then now you got yourself a referral opportunity.
Correct.
Like I probably have 7 houses right now under contract that are nowhere here or in my market. Like that's such a, like I would say 30% of my business is referrals. And so I have one in New Mexico, Pennsylvania, one in Miami. Like you can sell a house anywhere. I stay in my lane. I'm actually a Broward Palm Beach girl. I say I don't cross the border unless Kevin makes me go to the events. I don't cross the border. But I'll refer it to anybody, one of you guys. Like I don't want to cross the border.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ms. Tara. Thank you, Andres. In terms of, I'm sure you guys get this all the time. We want to work directly with the listing agent. We're already working with another agent. I have Zillow or I have whatever X website, realtor.com, homes.com, whatever X website you're using. Do I need an agent? I don't understand what you do. You just open doors. I don't want to feel any pressure. What do you guys, what would your suggestions be, or what are your comments on any of those?
I love that one. I want to hear if anyone has that. I get that all the time. I have 4 deals I double-ended as a listing agent in the last 6 days, and I get it all the time. And I love when they call me, well, I don't have an agent. I'm like, well, that's so, and I always throw this at them, and I don't mean to be rude, but I just need to educate these investors. So when they come to me and I tell them that, I always say, it's always so fascinating that you come to me with a lower price because you feel that there is not a buyer's agent compensation. What's interesting about that is that you wouldn't know what my listing agreement says if I have a dual variable rate. Would you?
That's true.
They don't know. Don't assume. Like I've had them increase compensations. Like, no, like do not assume. Obviously, it's whatever's in the contract, and they're assuming that you have a transaction broker agreement as well. So it's such a it's just such a
misnomer, right?
Yeah, it's just smoke and mirrors. But before I answer that one, because I get that one all the time, I would like to hear if anybody else has something that they do say to that. How do you feel about the objection handler that's there?
Well, I can kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, Tara. I have a listing and someone came without a realtor. He's like, well, since I don't have a realtor, how much do you think the seller is willing to go down? So of course I take that moment to educate them and say it's not the way that it works. Whatever the seller excuse me, put as compensation is what's going to get paid regardless if there's a realtor or not. So he's like, oh, but that's not what another agent told me. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So it's just like, it's difficult, when some agents say one thing and then another agent tries to tell them the way that it is. So
Yeah, I think that that's always going to be. So, I mean, we live in the area with the number one amount of agents in the entire country, right? And that's just what it is. I think if you go back to when they want to work directly with the listing agent, you go back to acknowledging, like agreeing and affirming and acknowledging what they're saying, and it's like, you know, I totally get why you'd like that or why you think that. A lot of buyers believe they'll get a better deal going to the listing agent.
Correct.
But here's
Mhm.
the reality. The listing agent's first duty is to the seller. Their
Correct.
job is to get them the highest price and the best terms for the seller. So think of it this way. If you're going to go through a divorce, would you want to hire the same attorney your spouse is using?
Right.
Oh,
Of course not, because no matter how nice that attorney is, they legally represent the other side's best interests. And that's exactly what happens when you go straight to the listing agent. You're stepping into negotiations without your own advocate. And in real estate, the stakes are even higher. I want to be your advocate. Can I be your advocate?
I love that. Nina, you wanted to make a comment?
Yes, I get that I'm staying with the same agent. It's like I've
I
talked
feel
about
that one
before,
too.
and the same agent is the one that the property expired with. And I understand their loyalty to that agent, but your property didn't get sold. So I'm stuck with that. You have
Yeah.
any cases with that one?
Oh yeah. I think that one probably, are you calling expired or canceled?
Expired.
Okay. Do we have that one on there?
I do not.
Okay. That one is typically, there's a few different routes to take it. It just depends on what their demeanor is. You know, sometimes they'll just go the route of, you know, I respect that. Loyalty is a great quality. And I think it says a lot about you that you want to stand by your agent. And here's the challenge though. Real estate's about results, not just relationships. So if your agent is meeting your needs and protecting your bottom line, that's fantastic. But if you're starting to feel stuck and unheard or like opportunities are being missed, then staying loyal could actually be costing you.
love it.
I usually ask him, well, what is it that they're going to do differently that they didn't do the first time?
I like that. And I also say I can respect your loyalty, but how about we meet and I give you a second opinion on what I can do differently from your last agent?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I used to say. Is there something better than that?
No,
Or
I think that you say,
I think
oh,
that's great.
I understand and I respect your loyalty, and that's a great quality. And, you know, would you be willing to sit down with me to give me an opportunity to see what I do differently? No pressure. I'm going to be in your area between 3 and 4 on Friday, or does Saturday work better?
yeah, that's kind of what I do. I like that.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes when they get a little mean, which we know sometimes they can be mean, I'll tend to go, well, you know what the definition of insanity is, right?
Doing the same thing over
Yeah,
again.
it's the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yeah. So what is your agent going to do differently that they should have done the first time?
Well, the agent said they're gonna work on a different plan.
Okay. And so why didn't they work on a different plan throughout the plan?
I don't know. I guess they wanted to try the first plan first, and if that didn't work, they wanted to try another plan. But while they're
know-
trying these different plans, it's costing me money.
I'd agree. How much is your holding cost per month?
About $3,000.
Wow, $3,000. And I see that you've already been on the market for 6 months.
18,000.
Yes.
Ouch. So how much longer are you willing to spend more money day after day after day before you hire the right agent like myself?
Well, if I don't do that, I'm just gonna rent it and just get some money better than no money.
Okay, great. I'm not attached to the outcome. I'm just going to help people get to their goals. So if renting it out makes more sense, then I can help you with that as well. Do you have an agent to help you list it for rent?
No.
All right, great. I'm going to be in the area on Friday between 3 and 4, Saturday better.
Let's do Saturday.
Got it.
That
Yay, that was so good.
that was good.
Good.
Thank you, Tara.
You're welcome. Well, loyalty is great, but loyalty won't sell your home. Results will. Can I show you what I do differently? I'm going to be in your area Friday between 3 and 4, and Saturday 2 o'clock work better.
We are a results-driven business, and Tara nailed it on the head. I love it.
I do too.
We already touched on a lot of these in providing our value. I thought Tara said it great. Does anyone have any questions? Do you want to do, we don't want to feel pressured?
I actually like your response. I don't really get that one too much. I completely agree. My role is to provide information and guidance, not pressure. You always make the final call, and I'll make sure you have the facts to feel confident. Sound good? I would just add a tie down on it.
Okay.
Nice job, Eddie.
No, thank you, my dear. I like partnering with you. Okay, what about inspection and risk? I know this is a lot for a lot of people. We talked about 1 in 5 deals falling apart. I'm sure there's a lot of deal killers. With the inspection and risk, and I'm sure Tara will speak to this, it's all about setting the expectation, though. It's all about setting the expectation from the beginning and letting them know what problems we want to go after and what are the big deal breakers and what are minor repairs. Do you agree with that, Tara?
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have all seen this before. I know we've all done deals. The inspection repaired scared us. What if we buy and find hidden problems later? What do you guys think about those?
Do you guys get those? If not, we won't spend time on it.
Yeah, we don't have to spend time on these comments if you're not getting them. No. All right. We don't want to deal with repairs. What if the appraisal comes in low? I know we've had a lot of appraisal issues over the last couple months, right?
Me, I deal with those.
Yeah. I think like, and I am not a certified appraiser, although in my brain and my ego thinks that I am because of all the work that I've done to master pricing. And so typically I know right away if I'm usually never more than a couple thousand off, up or down. In appraisal, but understand appraisers are also they can make mistakes, they're human. And so if one number is off, it's our duty and obligation to go through that appraisal with a fine-tooth comb, because one number can throw the whole thing off.
Right. Margarita mentioned here, if appraisal comes in low, we can negotiate the purchase price. Correct. There's always a way of figuring it out. And at the end of the day, I'm sure Tara works very much the same way. You take one problem at a time as they come, because if you try to tackle the whole transaction at once, you're going to get the client jumbled and you're going to get yourself jumbled. Do you agree with that, Tara?
Yeah, but I'm also, Margarita, I'll be honest, like just because it came in low doesn't mean that we're going to change our price. Like I have one that I told them it was not going to appraise, and it did not appraise. And the buyers, we declined coming down on the price. If they want the house bad enough, they will pay the difference in cash.
Right.
Because I know the property I had. So I already had 2 other offers that they already waived appraisal. So I don't be careful that if you overpromise to clients, you know, that, oh, well, they'll be able to work with us. Oh, they'll be able to come down, or, oh, they'll probably give us a credit. Oh, like, because guess who's going to end up having to pay for that because you gave a promise that you're not going to be able to fulfill.
And that's why those 8Ds are so important, right? Because I'm sure that seller you're representing, Tara, they're in no rush to sell.
Yes. And it could be an option. You're right, Margarita, for sure. I always just tell them 1 of 3 things happen if an appraisal comes in low. If the appraisal comes in, let's say it was appraised at 500 and our contract price is 510, we're $10,000 difference. 1 of 3 things happen. 1, the seller comes down and says, here, just take it. That's the perfect world. Never seen it happen, Mr. Buyer. Number 2 is the seller says, no, they're not going to come down. And either you decide to bring that additional money to closing in cash, 10,000, or they say no and you say no and we start all over again. Or option 3 is typically what happens is we try to negotiate the difference. Maybe you'll come up a little bit. We can go back to all the parties, see if the lender can come down on any fees, see if the title company can work with us, see if the other agent can work with us, see if the seller can work with us. And if we've tried to exhaust all of our options, then we can walk away. And then the only money you're out is the gambling money for inspections and appraisal. Sound good? And that we do it at a buyer consultation too. So they know about what could happen. And then we remind them during the appraisal, before the appraisal.
Like it. Let's look into location and lifestyle. I don't know if you all have had any of these comments from buyers. The commute is too long. I know we have that in Miami-Dade County. We have a traffic issue. We don't like the school district. This area doesn't feel safe, and it's too far from where my friend's family or my life is. Have you guys faced any of that in the past couple months?
No, I mean, I don't. But I would say that is all things taken out of the buyer console.
Mm-hmm. And again, we just want to make sure that we're being fair with fair housing.
Yeah.
You know, what you say matters, so just be very specific on that. We don't want to discriminate, you know, neighborhood compositions or anything like that. And again, a lot of times, me, you know, I'll use myself as an example. Me being a man, I say my idea of safety when I'm talking to a single female is going to be very different of whatever feels safe. So I think it's very specific. So just be careful when we're touching on that.
Well, just giving them the resources for them to do their own research.
Correct.
That's really
Correct.
all we do. We can't,
Yeah, we can't really come, right.
greatschools.org, I give them that for the school district. If they're not sure about it, then I find others that go to that school and I introduce them and they can get their own opinion from somebody. Like, I don't have kids in that school. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that even though it says it's a C, it's a great school.
Correct.
I'm going to just, you know, here's the information, and then we can find some people that go to that school and that we can hear from them directly. Just
very much what Tara says, stay in your lane and be like an expert, because the bottom line is like, I agree with you. I don't have kids, so I don't know if it's a great school. I love that. What about
the commute too long or anything like that, especially when they're not from here? I use Waze, because Waze on the app, you could put what time of day you're actually going to leave, and it already has traffic data inside of it on what time you need to be there based on what time you need to leave. Like if I needed to be in Fort Lauderdale on a Friday and I was in Miami, that means I need to leave at like 11 a.m.
Right. Whoopsie. Any other questions or any other anything that we didn't cover in the objections that you guys would like us to go over to help out?
Hi, I would like to add something.
Yes.
So my name is Danielle. Hello. And
Danielle.
I put it in the chat, and I just wanted to also just have a quick discussion about it. So I'm currently working with these buyers in Coral Springs that have relocated from Los Angeles, and they've been probably my most difficult clients to date. Even my inspector and my MLO are always telling me, like, we're just dying for this deal to close already so that you can like be done with these people, because like across the board with everybody involved in the team, they've like, it's been an unpleasant experience. So
we've all had them, girl. We've all had them.
Girl, listen. So they're entitled, and they think they know everything. And one of the main points of contention, we've been after them to sign the CD for the last 2 weeks, and they've been dragging feet. And the truth of the matter is that it circles back to the whole interest rate issue. Interest rates. Oh, it's supposed to go down a quarter, and I'm like, where in what world, what like publication are you relying on to get this information? It's always the same repetitive thing. It's gonna go down, it's gonna go down, it's gonna go down. I'm like, who the hell's telling you this? But the long story short of it is that between this couple, the person who continues to mention the interest rate issue is the wife, and the wife is the one that has that's basically weighing down their potential to get a better credit score because she has high debt. And they have all these issues even with supplying paperwork. And so my response to that is, it doesn't matter if the interest rates go down. There's so much criteria that goes into even qualifying for a good interest rate. So just because they went down doesn't mean you're going to get the lowest interest rate available. There's DTI, there's income, there's so many other metrics that MLOs use for this. And so that's my way of also educating and not insulting and saying like, oh, you're never going to get a good interest rate because your shit sucks. But it's more so like, hey, like, don't go by what the news say, because we take into account all these other metrics. Is that right or wrong? That's my understanding.
You're right. Do yourself a favor. It already sounds like you're on the right path. Get the facts. The facts. The facts are the only thing that matter, and stay in your lane. You're not the lender. You're not the tax person.
Correct. I always refer them to the MLO anyway.
Yeah, but you're going to get involved and handle it. So I want to know 2 things. Write this down.
Okay.
When does the rate lock expire? And how much is it per day? And have the LO be able to also do the math of what the interest rate is now with all of their numbers. And then if it did, which it's supposed to, by the way, either a 0.25 or a 0.5 tomorrow.
Yeah.
However, what is the difference? And then how much is that difference that changes his cash to close, his monthly payment? Because we may be talking about $8 a month, but now
Okay, so
get the
I
fact.
I love that you brought that up because we have a group chat with the couple and our MLO, and she's constantly educating us as a whole, right? Because it's always information that nurtures my brain too. And she's mentioned that time and again. And so we already have them locked. The expiration date for them having been locked is not yet knocked on our door. However, they finally signed the CD. But it's she's mentioned it to them again. Like, we can unlock your rate that you're at now, and we could take a risk and get a higher one. You guys pick. And we've done everything that we can to get seller concessions to buy down their rate as well. So, we've demonstrated to them that we're of value by educating them and, doing everything possible to show them that we're trying to bring it down. But at the end of the day, I feel like, the concern so much for the rate isn't merited when you don't fit the metrics to get a low rate.
I think that I would still get the metrics of, if they could, what would that look? The other thing, it sounds like you're doing the right thing. And just keep in mind, you cannot rationalize with irrational people.
Correct. Correct.
It's either that, or it's that they're not receiving the information because the information is not being communicated in the way that they want to receive it.
I think they've just made it a choice to misunderstand everything that we're saying because we're not telling them what they want to hear.
That 100%. And so that's going to be that you can't rationalize with irrational. But the other case could be that, what is their DISC profile personality assessment, which is not for this class. What is their DISC profile and how do they like to receive information? And then I would change up my communication style to see if they're actually receiving the information that's coming, because there's a difference between people who tell versus people who show.
Correct.
Showing, asking questions for them to self-discover versus telling, this is what it's going to be, as opposed to when we went through that role play, if you notice, I got him to understand what I was saying, but I never actually told him. All I did was ask questions.
Yeah, that provoked thought. I understand.
Correct.
I'm just laughing now because I can just envision myself making every one of my clients go to 16personalities.com.
Yeah, why not? Absolutely. Last thing I want everybody to write down is, the person who talks the most dominates the conversation. The person who asks the most questions controls the conversation. Master asking questions based on their DISC profile and how they want to receive information. You'll change the game.
I like it.
Tara,
There's a
Tara and
question.
Ed, I actually put it in.
Hi,
the
Jane.
chat.
I was just going to answer you. I just read it now.
Okay.
Do you want to go over it, Tara? Did you get a chance to read it?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, it's a long.
No, it's okay. I saw that they listed with someone else.
No, they listed, the gentleman had listed his house
Right.
with someone else, and his
But then
sister
the other
died.
house that you were working on.
Exactly. And I made it very clear to him, I didn't want to try to get his house. I would never badmouth another agent. I would never try to take anything from another agent. I was only interested in helping him with his sister's house, and I was referred to him by his home care company that had helped his sister right before she died.
Jane, let's do this. Kevin, do we have 5 minutes? Past 2?
Yeah, we have.
Okay, let's go. Jane, if you can stay on after 2 o'clock, I'm going to answer that because I want to get through the content, and then I'm more than happy to answer that. And anyone else is able to stay on if they want to give. I have an extra 15 minutes I can give.
Yeah. Thanks, Tara.
You're very welcome. And so, Edward, let's go through after inspection, because we kind of covered that. And please hear me on this. If your buyer consultations are not at least 2 hours, you're missing a huge opportunity. And I taught a buyer consultation class, and if you want me to come back, just tell Kevin.
You actually have it on YouTube, I believe.
Oh, there you go. I would love to do one in person. I'll come down.
I would attend that class.
Yes, just all you have to do is blow Kevin up. Then TK, and they'll make it happen. All right, what was the next one we had? The location of lifestyle.
We did. I think we finished there.
Okay, what about for the sellers ones? Because I'd like to go through some seller ones.
Oh, I only did buyer.
Okay. And put in the chat if you guys hear additional seller ones, and I'll go through a few as well, okay? Because I pretty much, you hear the same ones. For the most part, I hear the same ones. How about you guys?
Yes.
Okay. I also get, what are some of the, put them in the chat, the ones that you get the most. I would say the one that I get the most on a daily basis is let's list high. We can just come down later. Does anyone else get that one?
Let's test the market.
Yeah, let's test the market. You know, I
the
understand
market.
you want to list high to leave room for negotiating. And have you considered the problem that creates for you, Edward?
Yeah, but I don't want to leave any food on the table. I need all the money I can get. This is my big asset, and if you can't do it, then I need someone that's going to list it high, because I need money.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you know that we're on the same team? Because the more money you make, the more money I make too.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, Edward, most people won't even bother looking at properties that are priced too high. Would you rather have a bidding war on your home or not have an opportunity to negotiate any offers at all?
Oh, I would like a bidding war.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised to see how many of my listings actually sell for over the list price. Would you like to see them?
Oh yeah, let me see.
And then I'm going to go through the ones that do. I do it all the time. Still do it in this market. I get a lot of, we want to think it over. Or usually it's, I want to think it over. I want to sleep on it. And it's the same thing every time. You know, that's great. And since 3 minds are better than 2, let's think out loud together. Tell me, what is it that's stopping you from putting me to work for you today? If there's just 2 of them, you could ask them. Other than, there's something called isolating the objection. Isolating the objection. Actually, I want to unshare the screen. Isolating the objection is key. And so what do I mean by that? Whatever they're saying, if you're getting to the end of a presentation and you're asking if they want to put you to work, you want to put me to work for you today. And it's such an awkward question. You know, are you ready to get started? Are you ready to put me to work for you? And then you get like, I want to think about it. I want to sleep on it. I get multiple of that. And so typically, if you isolate the objection, it is other than wanting to think about it. Is there any other reason why you wouldn't hire me today? Oh, well, you know, the other agent said that he would do it for less. Other than the other agent saying that they would do it for less, is there any other reason why you wouldn't hire me today? You're isolating the objection because typically there's something, you know, at this point in my presentation, usually sellers will tell me they're ready to hire me and put me to work. And so I feel like there's something that I missed during my presentation. So what were you looking for me to go over that I didn't go over? Like, just get clarity. Be okay with asking tough questions. Like, and also be okay with rejection. A no is not a no, it's just a not yet. And if you go on 100% of, if you get 100% of your deals out of 10 listing appointments or buyer presentations that you do, if you get 10 out of 10, you're not going on enough appointments. I want you to embrace and get the no's. The no's are what's going to build you.
Right, baby.
Right? The no's build you. So yeah, the let's start now, come down later is typically a big one. Or, you know, the other agent said that they could get me more money. I can appreciate that. And what you probably don't realize is this: an agent that will list your property overpriced assumes that they can take the listing now and then start beating you up on the price week after week after week. Is that what you want? Who would? They're afraid to tell you the truth, Edward, up front. Do you want the truth?
I can't handle the truth.
Of course you can, Edward. So let's do the right thing and simply sign the contract so I can help you get you what you want in the time that you want. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, I think you have a point.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, out of role play, please understand there are so many times I walk away from a deal because I tell them, listen, if you're not willing to work on the terms and conditions, because I'm in the business to sell homes, not list homes. It sounds like to me, you probably should go with those other agents. It also sounds like to me, based on what you have said and where you want to be at, even though I've shown you the market data research, that you're going to call me and I'm going to be your third or fourth realtor. So, you know, it's okay. Just hire them. I'm not willing to take your listing, and let me know when you're ready. And I'll walk out. And then
How many
what?
of those people come back?
Guess who calls me? That's called a walk away. Be afraid. I even walked away from a $7.5 million. I even walked away from a $65,000 condo both last week. Because, okay, and so I love when they're like, well, will you sign a 30-day agreement? Yeah. Are you willing to give me a 30-day price?
Right.
Yeah, all day. I'll sign a 30-day agreement all day. But are you giving me a 30-day price? And then what happens is this is why the one script of when you are going on an appointment is so key in the beginning. You know, Edward, I'm so happy to meet with you and help you get you to Nebraska by October. And I just wanted, before we get started, I just want to let you know, one of three things are going to happen today. One, you're going to decide to hire me, which is great. One, you're going to decide not to hire me, which is not so great. Or three, Edward, you may decide to hire me and I may choose not to take your listing. No matter what happens, I'm okay with any of those choices, okay? Great, let's get started. So I'm letting them know up front, there is no pressure. You don't have to hire me. You may want to hire me and I may not want to work with you. But I know I have a gift to help people just like you guys do. And that's why it's also good to partner with agents. I partner with a lot of agents on deals that just need, somebody else to kind of just help them close it or have a track record or anything like that. Like, you guys have peers for a reason. And us as leaders on the board, any of us would be happy to co-list with you or co-work a deal with you. Like, you have all of us for a reason. Like, we were put into leadership positions for a reason. Right, Edward? That's
right. Don't mess with Miss Tara.
We may be just a pretty blonde, but we're savage. Because I know my scripts. I know my value. I believe in my value.
Right. And it resonates.
Yeah, and I'm not saying anything to be cocky, to be arrogant, to be da-da-da-da, but like, what I won't do is take an overpriced listing and have me pay for marketing. My dollar per hour is $287 an hour. I'm not going to waste my time and my money when I could go help 5 other people that need my help, that want my help, and want to listen to what I want to say. Right? And so you have to decide, you're a 1099 independent contractor and you get to work with whoever you want to work with. But I know what it was like when I had to keep my light bills on and I barely had any deals and I was a rental queen because I didn't know how to do any of this. So if I were you, pick the one skill that you feel like you're not so skilled in, take the scripts, take one script at a time, write it, recite it, role play it every single day until you can't get it wrong. That's your job.
I love that.
I still write my scripts and I still role play.
Iron sharpens iron. I love that.
Yes.
What I like to do, I like to record myself and then play it over and over again, like in the car or whatnot.
Right. That's great, Miguel.
Yeah, I love that too, by the way. What is this? A bevy station? Would you guys, if I put this in my office, this is a side note, a bevy station? What is that?
We're gonna come hang out over there and play with the bevy station.
I don't know. Someone just came in the office. He could chat with me, but he has to wait. Where can you get a script? I will drop my script book. I use my guy Jeff's. He's a dear friend of mine. I use his book. I think a lot of the scripts are good. It just depends. And the other thing I just want to state, it doesn't sound like you because you've never said it before.
Correct. And Tara, I'm sure you make it your own. There are certain things that you make your own. And there are certain things that she's not going to say because that doesn't sound like her. That doesn't represent you. Right?
Oh, no. Yeah. And you write this down. You don't get the right to be creative until you're consistent. So until you learn exactly what is said, then, and you've internalized it, then you can get creative with it. So for example, some people would be like, how did you know all that? Because I literally learned maps, Diana Kokoska scripts, Fairy scripts, Glover scripts. I've learned scripts along the way, and now mine are like a combo of multiple. But I didn't get the right to be creative with my scripts until I learned I was consistent with what works. You don't know what to say. It doesn't sound like you because you've never said it before. But if you think about it, you guys learned a script at a very early age, and it's the creepiest thing in the whole world. Like, it's really creepy, and you guys did it. You guys would knock on people's doors, strangers' doors, and ask them for candy, and they gave it to you. What did you say?
Trick or treat.
That's a script, guys. That's a script. So when you said this, they did this. They gave you candy. When you said this, now it's the same thing with real estate. Don't overcomplicate this. When a buyer says this, you say this. When the buyer says this, then you say this. When the seller says this, then you say this. When they say this, you say this. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. That's it. I'm also going to put my Instagram here, and then anybody wants to stay on for time's sake, I want to hear from 2 people, 2 takeaways to know that this was valuable.
Thank you so much. It has been valuable.
What would you take away?
So pretty much what I would take away is that you will have to ask the right questions in order to go ahead and get what they actually need, in order to go ahead and not waste time and not have any delays or any cancellations towards the end.
Yeah. And the cancellations and delays will always happen, yet the more that you set the expectation, the better is, because you want to really be able to control as much as you can, but always having a servant heart, like not being attached to the outcome, you know? I also, I do have a lot of self-confidence, and that is a skill that the work that you see is the work that's been done behind the scenes, that I continue to, like, what do you do behind the scenes when nobody is watching? Like, how often are you writing, practicing, role playing? Like, you got to put in the work.
Andres has a question.
Well, not actually a question, it's a takeaway.
Okay.
I believe that, a lot of these objections could be avoided, like Tara said, in the buyer's consultation or seller's consultation, because there's tons of questions that you can ask them beforehand in order to understand their situation and then address whatever they need, accordingly. So for me, it is to understand a little bit more what should be included or not in a buyer's or seller's consultation, which is the key point. And obviously, all of these objections and the ways to get them done will be to practice all of them. I agree with that too.
Yeah, most definitely.
I have a question for you, please, Tara.
Hit me.
So I'm hearing like 2 different approaches. One is to ask questions, which is from you as well as a handful of other very, very successful top realtors. And then there's another approach from other top realtors, very successful as well, that don't really even have necessarily a listing presentation. They come in and they offer their knowledge, a vast amount of knowledge and experience, and educate the individual and get the listings that way. And I know you're laughing, I see you laughing, but simply because you have your way. And so why are you laughing? And why do you do it your way?
I think that so you have to have 4 presentations for buyer presentations, for seller presentations, for the DISC profiles, for personality assessments, DISC. I need a D, an I, an S, and a C presentation for both sides of it. I'm laughing because I want to say like my 2 million I'm about to close on was a 2019 expired. I didn't even walk in there with a business card, let alone a presentation, let alone I didn't walk in with anything. We just walked in with this. Like then the 800,000 that was a 2-day-old expired that I'm about to change the status today when it was on the market for 9 months with another agent, and then I have 6 offers in a week. I met her and I walked in, and I remember when I pulled up to the house because she said, "Hey, I'm about to sign with this agent right now," and with this new agent. And I said, "Well, before you do, can I come over in the morning?" And she's like, "Yeah."
Oh, yeah.
So I show up with nothing.
I don't think so.
Nothing. I showed up with nada. Crystal, turn your
yeah.
stuff. I literally showed up with nothing. And so that's not to brag by any means. This is because I know my stuff at any point given in time, and I also believe in my worth. So I don't know. I think sometimes, yes, it works. I don't show up with anything, but understand this. In my car, which I could go to my car right now and show you, in my car, I have an expandable folder. I have 5 copies of listing agreements, 5 seller's disclosures, 5 condos, 5 buyer agreements, you name it. I have everything. 5 FISBO packages, 5 expired packages. I'm always prepared. This is the best part. You don't have to.
That is a given. Yes.
You don't have to get ready when you stay ready.
That is a given. Yes. Yes.
So I think it just depends, but that means that they've mastered their value proposition and worth and skill set so much that that's the only reason why I walked in like a G and got it, because it was nothing. That took time.
So under certain circumstances, you will bulldog your way in and strut your stuff.
Yeah, a lot of it is me doing nothing but asking questions.
Okay. But at other times, you will basically show off your knowledge, explain the market, explain the state of the market.
If they care to hear about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to overshare and talk about the market if they don't care to hear talk about the market.
Okay. Okay. If you see they're fidgeting or.
No, I asked them up front, would you like me to review the market?
Okay.
And if they say no, then please save me, get me out of here. I want to go to an appointment.
Okay.
Yeah, but if they're a high C on the DISC profile, I have every spreadsheet you could possibly imagine about the market.
Okay. So you read them on the phone and then you do what is appropriate.
Correct.
Okay. So one way or the other is not the wrong or the right. You read them on the phone and then you adjust appropriately.
Yeah, and I've also Googled them, researched them, LinkedIn them, Facebook them, you name it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And I also look up forewarned because I'm going to a stranger's house and I meet clients I'm meeting, and I can also tell a lot by their criminal history and cars and the type of car and type of houses they own.
Mm-hmm.
And I could probably tell you who they voted for based on that information as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. To answer, and then the question that Jane had, that he said he's going to go with the 1% agent. I would ask how long he's going to give them a contract for.
Okay.
I would also ask, what is he expecting that agent to do that they didn't do the first time?
And collect his thoughts.
Okay. Well, and here's the thing. Normally, when you see a $3 million home, there's some marketing that goes out, and you see some of the top producers up here, and I get emails from them all the time. This beautiful place or open house, or I haven't seen anything from this guy. So and not to say that everybody does that, but who knows what he's doing for 1%? And does that mean that there's 1% to him and no offer for any of the buyer's agents? So you know, how does he expect to move it at all? He's already, by the way, he already reduced it 200,000. And it's been on the market for over 2 months.
Yeah.
So he's losing more money by chasing the market down than what he would have paid a full price agent to do the proper marketing for him.
He needs someone to show him, not tell him. So, Mr. Seller, I respect that you want to save, you know, most people do, but hiring based on commission is like choosing a surgeon because they're the cheapest.
Oh,
The real question is, who will net you the most at the closing table?
That's excellent. I love the surgeon analogy.
Yeah, because hiring based on commission is like choosing a surgeon because they're the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really about the commission, or is it about you netting as much money as possible?
Right.
Because would you rather save on commission or walk away with the most amount of money in your pocket?
There you go.
So if I could show you how I'll put an extra $20,000 minimum more in your pocket than the discount agent, does the commission even matter?
Mm-hmm. Okay, good.
Agents cost you money. Skilled agents like myself and my team make you money.
Make you money, right?
You want to make money, right?
Yep.
Great, let's make money together. When can we meet?
Yeah, love it. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you, Tara.
I mean, if commission was the only factor, no one would drive a Mercedes.
Right.
And it's not about what they pay. Like, I'd be like, you know, it's not about what you pay me. It's about what you net, right?
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
And I have other ones if they want to be stubborn. And then last part, I'll leave you guys on this. And then if you guys go to my Instagram that was there, I have a link to my link tree, and I do a Monday mastermind that's open to everybody. If you guys ever want to book on my calendar. However, anytime I don't get a listing yet, or I didn't get it, I print it out and I put it on my wall and I write the words expired on it. And I manifest it because I'm going to get it.
I love that.
A no is just to look for the no's. A no is just a not yet.
Yeah.
So if I were you, Jane, the only conversations and scripts, dialogues for the next 7 days I would be working on is I want to hire a discounted agent. And that would be the only thing I'm working on at the moment.
Okay. Perfect.
I have one I just thought of. What do you think about this, Tara?
Hit me.
Well, I can do my own taxes as well, but I pay somebody $2,000 to save me from 37% to go down to 25%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just thought about that on the fly.
Oh, I like it. And one of my favorites is, if all the agents did the same things, wouldn't we all make the same amount of money? If all realtors did the same things, wouldn't we all make the same amount of money? And then I'll go through my accolades and whatnot for that. When they're like, all of these realtors are the same. Yeah. Let me show you why we're different. And if you don't have that yet, because I don't know where you're at in your business, like, partner with somebody, use your brokerage stats. Like, literally, you don't have to do this alone. Like, we're all here to help each other. We need each other.
Tara, how do we sign up for your Monday mastermind, and what time is it?
It's on Mondays at noon. Just go to my Instagram. I put my link on there, Miss Tara Carter MS, because I'm not married yet. And so MS, and then I have on my link tree a Monday mastermind. Just sign up there, and then you'll
Tara Carter IG at MS Tara Carter.
It's MS Tara Carter, Miss.
You know what? Honestly, I don't even know how to.
How about this? I'll put my cell phone number in there and text me.
Thank you.
Anybody else, just text me and send me your info. I'm excited. I used to train all the time with KW. Oh, sorry, wasn't supposed to say my old brokerage.
You're sorry. Can you put your number back up for a sec?
It's in the top. So I used to train Optin for 10 years. I was their head coach, and I left. And I'm looking to pour all that energy that I used to do with them into you guys. So if you want more of the juice and whatnot, I'm pretty versatile. Just bother Kevin and TK, and they'll get me on the calendar.
Super cool.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Have a amazing day. And if you follow me, I'll make sure to follow you back too.
Once I figure out how to do that.
That's okay. Just text me.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone. See you next
Bye.
week.
Thank
Take
you,
care. Thank you.
Kevin. Sign her up.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm gonna be on my laptop.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I have a full purse.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm eating before I leave.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm sneaking out for show.
We're YPN leaders.
Of course we're going to be creating content.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm signing up for classes.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm Cafecito obsessed.
I'm a YPN leader. Of course I'm gonna crash the next happy hour.
If I'm on my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. If I'm on my way home, yeah. If I'm on my way home, yeah. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me. Wouldn't it be crazy? But you still amaze me.